name is Dana Golden. We're going to finish up the class. This is going to be the last video of the class. Get excited because we're talking about Texas. You know, I have one every year. I have a student who comes and they hear me say don't mess with Texas, and they go mess with Texas, and then they find out, you know. So I can't stress enough, don't mess with Texas. Here is a map of the Texas electrical grid split up into the regions. These are the regions I use in my thesis. These are the zones that are available in the data. So Texas has a very odd electrical grid. It is not the entire state of Texas. You'll notice there's these little parts that are not part of it. This here is part of SVP. This is here is part of MISO. This here is independent. And then you might say, well, why is that? Well, it's because ERCOT is kind of an odd artifact of history. It was established in 1970 as the Electric Reliability Council of Texas. It was created to coordinate power flow and ensure grid reliability within Texas. It operates as a single state grid, largely independent of U.S. interconnections. So you have the Eastern Interconnection, which is the entire eastern United States. You have the Western Interconnection, which is the Western United States, except for Hawaii and Alaska, and then you have Texas. And they've done this to avoid federal jurisdiction. Under the Federal Regulatory Commission, they want to, because they operate solely within Texas with limited power flows across states, they don't want to be subject to FERC regulations because they, I guess, want to secede from the union. They want to be free. And for them, being free means not following FERC's rules. So Texas restructured the electricity market in 1990 under Senate Bill 7 and introduced retail competition and separated power generation, transmission, and retail services. So this was ISO that's existed since 1970, but you finally saw the full deregulation in 1999. With the introduction of the energy-only Texas grid that we know today. And this manages over 90% of Texas electric load and has over 50,000 miles of transmission. They have some really great data down in Texas, but they really messed up by not connecting more to the grid, which we'll talk about today. Or maybe they didn't. Maybe they think that freedom is worth it. And then they operate the competitive wholesale and retail electricity markets. ERCOT. So why did Texas choose the energy-only approach? It's because generators are... So what is the energy-only approach? First off, generators are paid only for the electricity produced without separate capacity payments. The idea is that this promotes market efficiency. We let the market decide how much investment and innovation there needs to be. We just let the market decide what the price should be. We don't need off-air caps. We don't need the administration to determine what capacity is required. We let the market decide who gets electricity. And this, you know, if they had a capacity market, they might have invited regulatory dependence through FERC administration of the capacity market, or they might have got the need for more transmission because you would have had to have had the market not deciding how much you need. So with offer caps, you might have needed more transmission. And you have cost minimization. This avoids capacity payments, but in theory decreases cost to consumers by avoiding them, but increases the possibility of reliability failures. So the design features, you have high prices during tight supply, which incentivizes investment in new capacity, and you encourage consumers to adjust usage during peak times. So offer caps, there's maximum prices that generators can bid into the ERCOT wholesale electricity market. These are much higher in ERCOT than other markets. They're intended to prevent price manipulation and encourage market stability. So in ERCOT, there's a system-wide offer cap set at $9,200 per megawatt hour, but it's been reduced to $5,000 since Winter Storm Uri. So it used to be $9,000, now it's at $5,000 because you saw really high offer prices during Winter Storm Uri, and there was a feeling generally upset that there'd been some market power that had been exercised then. And then there's peak or net margin, which is an offer comp that's lowered when a generator's cumulative net revenue exceeds the desired threshold. This is based on the idea that if you have enough money, you don't need to place incredibly high offers. But yeah, Texas allows substantially higher offer caps than other places because they want the market to play as much of a role in determining the prices it can, and they want as much freedom and self-determination as possible. So they have another thing alongside the offer cap, which is value of lost load, which represents the estimated economic cost of an underserved megawatt hour of electricity consumers. This is used to set offer caps to align with the cost of electricity interruptions and allow for a scarcity pricing mechanism to incentivize reliability. So under normal conditions, you're not allowed to charge a higher offer cap, but you have a value of lost load that allows you to implement scarcity pricing in times of need. So high offer caps signal and generators to increase supply during scarcity and reduce blackout lips, and aligning offer caps with value of lost load being how much it's worth it to have that additional load, allows it offer caps to affect the true economic value of reliability. So operating reserve demand curve in ERCOT, the ORDC, or operating reserve demand curve, is a scarcity pricing mechanism used to value reserves based on the probability of grid reliability events. So this is the idea that instead of having regular capacity auctions, we're going to provide real-time price signals to incentivize resource availability during scarcity conditions. So we're going to let prices go up a lot when we determine that electricity is scarce, which is not something we allow to do in other ISOs where we have a capacity market where we force people to be online or they forfeit capacity payments. So it reflects the economic value of maintaining operating reserves to avoid loss of load based on the value of lost load. So it can't go to infinity, but it can get pretty high. So let's talk about the 2021 Uri storm, which led to the ERCOT outages. So key features, because of reserve scarcity prices, reserves fell below threshold, and then prices rose pretty dramatically. So value based on loss of load probability, you have the ORDC is equal to how likely you are to lose load if this generator is not present times the value of lost load. So basically, the ORDC, or demand curve, is based on the curve of the value the generator is providing the market. So the idea of the ORDC and the value of lost load is that the generator is providing a value to the market, and price can increase non-linearly as reserves approach critical levels to stop scarcity. And this is the idea that prices are going to grow pretty significantly. This will bring in more capacity into the market, and then people are going to come into the market expecting that these high prices are going to justify the investments. This is going to allow short-term price spikes to justify long-term investments. So in 2021, this was calculated in real time for reserves below 6,500 megawatts and linked to a $5,000 megawatt per hour offer cap to ensure high scarcity pricing. The impact is encouraged generation availability during tight supply conditions and provided the price signal support investments in flexible resources. So long run, the idea is that this encourages you to invest in flexible resources on the assumption that sometimes we'll get really high prices. So of course, the challenges all-top pricing create financial uncertainty. A lot of market participants didn't get paid for this. A lot of market participants didn't pay because the people who were supposed to pay them went bankrupt and weren't able to pay. And high scarcity prices can raise consumer costs during extreme conditions. So during Winter Storm Uri, we had widespread power outages. So did the system work? No. We had widespread power outages affecting 4.5 million homes. So this might have failed the system. Clearly, there wasn't enough capacity, but also this was partially due to failed weatherization. The natural gas plants, particularly, were not adequately weatherized, and now that's not going to be a problem again. Frozen equipment and fuel supply disruptions caused significant generation outages. Particularly, there are problems with natural gas pipelines which froze because people didn't know things can get cold out there in Texas. Yeah, you already messed with Texas, and you don't mess with Texas. So yeah, there was a demand surge because of extreme cold weather, and this led prices to reach $9,000 offer cap during pre-scarcity conditions, which really messed up the market and led to high costs to losses to a lot of people. High costs. ERCOT maintained high prices for several days, leading to billions of dollars market costs. And even though, despite the high prices, still had some market disruptions and interruptions. And then, of course, there are market disruptions, financial strain on providers, with some declaring bankruptcy and significant impacts on retail customers who now, if they had variable rate plans, were on the hook for that. So aftermath, of course, they reduced the system-wide offer cap from 9,000 to 5,000 because they realized 9,000 was too high, and the prices, if they got that high, would bankrupt some people. There was an increased focus on weatherization to make sure that we were prepared for these winter storms that are going to be increasingly common, and we renewed discussions on grid resilience and capacity market designs. And here's a meme. ERCOT be like, "Can I offer you $9,000 per megawatt electricity in this trying time? The price is the price." So I want to thank you for this course. I really enjoyed teaching it. I hope you enjoyed taking it. I know, this is the first time it was taught, so there was a little bit of, there were times when there were a little flaws in the slides, and I really look forward to, if you can provide any course evaluations and help me improve the course in the future, I really look forward to this. This is my field, so I'd really like this to be a good course. I'd really hope that you learned a lot, and I hope you can tell me what worked and what didn't. But I'd like to also end on, and of course, also, if you ever need any help getting a job, if you ever want some discussion of how to help you improve your resume, how you can get these jobs I keep talking about, I'm willing to provide that at any time. But I'd like to end on a discussion of hope. I think a lot of the times throughout the course, I've been negative on climate change. I've talked about how bad it's going to be, how much risk there is. And that can lead you to feel like there's no hope. I think it can lead you to feel like, well, we're going to spend all this time and money on climate change, and it might not even work out, and what's the point? I want you to have hope. I want you to know that we're doing something impressive. Winston Churchill talked about, during World War II in his speech at Harwell Hall, he talked about the idea that the students had changed the lyrics of the school song to say, "Not less we praise in harsher days, darker days." And Churchill made the point, these are not dark days. These are very great days. And the fact that times are hard does not mean that these are dark days. The fact that there's climate change doesn't mean you should give up. They mean you have a chance to be a part of something meaningful and important. So you can tell your grandchildren. You can want your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren to know that you were here and you did something to stop climate change. I want you to remember we can stop it. We can build a world that's better. We can build a world with cheap solar and wind electricity that work for everyone. And I want you to not leave this class feeling depressed and despondent. I want you to leave this class remembering that progress is possible. It's not guaranteed, but it's possible, and you can make it happen. You can be part of something great and building a world that is great. And I hope you do it, and I hope you come back to me and write to me one day about how you played a part in saving mankind from this existential risk. And with that, I'll leave it there. There's an optional lecture on environmental justice, but I hope you have a great day.